First, I want to thank John Gleason and apologize to him for getting all my stuff that he's been asking me for forever at the last second. And the poor guy had to call me 1,000,000 times, but unfortunately that's my MO, and I apologize for putting you through all that stress. I want to thank the selection committee and the Pima County Sports Hall of Fame for giving me this wonderful honor. I'm proud to be here. Especially want to thank my family. First of all, my parents. Without them, obviously, I wouldn't be here. And my mom taught me to be a strong, confident woman back in the day before there was women's lib. And my dad taught me a tremendous love of sports. And every time I play a game or I have a win, I always look up and thank them. Also, my husband of 35 years, Jim, who I think in 30 years, it'll be my 31st year of coaching. In 30 years of coaching, he's probably missed a handful of games that he couldn't make to film. So we go back a long time, and the shorts were a lot shorter back in those days, so we've seen soccer come a long way. I love soccer because my oldest daughter, Annie, wanted to play different sports, and my mom always said, why don't you let the girls be ballet and ballerinas or something? I go, I hate that stuff. So unfortunately, we're forced to do sports because that's what I made them do. She was a great athlete, and I thank her because of her, I kind of became a really good coach. She was my assistant for a lot of years, and we won our first couple of state champions with her as my assistant coach. My two younger daughters, Jamie and Steph, ended up pretty much growing up at the Rincon University High School soccer field. They were 5 and 4 years old, and that's where they spent their lives, or they spent their winters. It was a winter sport. So I really deeply thank my family. My siblings are here. I thank them so much for all their support. Obviously, they have the same parents, and they came from the same, my father, who instilled, except for my younger sister, a great love of sports. And she's getting there, and we're working on it, but she always has trouble. And she'd come to the soccer games, and it's a finesse game nowadays, and she'd just yell, boot it. And I said, could you just be quiet, because that's not what we're trying to teach them. So anyway, and then certainly last but not least, my very best friend in the whole world, Pat Leger, and her husband Zeke, who came from Reno to share this special moment with me. She's my surrogate big sister, and I couldn't have had a greater friend than you, so thank you for coming. I started coaching boys soccer. I've been coaching boys soccer for, like I said, 30 years. And when I was younger, I always wanted 5 sons. And unfortunately, I got 3 stinking girls, which is what I told people. But I really, and then it turns out that girls are actually okay. And they're actually 3 wonderful daughters, and I really appreciate them, enjoy them. But I have, over the last 30 years, I can't tell you the numbers, of wonderful surrogate sons that I was able to get by coaching boys. It's a job that I love. I go to every day during the season, and I get so excited because back in the day I was so competitive. It was like win at all costs. And as you get older, and all of you, those of us are pretty old that are in this, we found out that there's more to life than that. What kind of young men are they going to become? What kind of citizens? A lot of them go back and coach their children. I'm old. And a lot of them are just wonderful members of the community, or moved all over, went to wonderful schools, and I'm just so proud that they're the ones that made me famous. I like to say that I did it all, but I guarantee you I didn't. The smart coach, as these coaches will attest to, surround themselves with great people. And my daughter and I were like yin and yang, and fortunately for me, I ended up working with my nephew, Josh, who also played soccer at Rincon for 4 years, and he's my new yin and yang. And he'll say, Rox, could you please, when we're up 1-0, not like put a whole line in, like a hockey line change, and then the other team would score, and then we have to struggle to whatever. But I just think everybody should have a fair shot, and I appreciate all the time and effort, Josh, that you do. So, kind of in closing, because I don't want to spend a lot of time here, but I thank all of you for coming and honoring us. Hank Matz, who I worked with for I can't even tell you how many years, wonderful sense of humor, one of the coolest people I've ever known, always had a smile on his face, and he saw things kind of like I did, and we just sort of like, meh, you know, whatever. We weren't, he was the administrator, but he was a cool administrator. And then I thank the Rincon contingent and anybody that has anything to do with Rincon for being here. What are the odds that Rich and I are both, up the same year, both have over 400 wins, and my nephew said, who's working with me, said, I don't care if you're in a wheelchair and I have to pick you up at the nursing home. You're going to keep coaching soccer with me. So I want to thank you all again, and you know what? Go Rangers.